I'm Vassal.
I'm Wendy.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Welcome to Catchupalooza, where we talk about a game that some of us haven't played, one of us or more has played it, and taught it to the rest of us, and now we talk about our feelings. This is the Bloody Inn, which initially I didn't play because of the theme, honestly. Also, that artwork it's grown on me, that artwork, but that artwork is definitely a love it, hate it style artwork.
Sure.
Yeah, I hate it, but it's okay.
Santiago, what is it? Weberson Santiago artwork.
It's from.
I like it a lot.
You don't like it?
Not a fan. No.
I like it for this theme a lot.
I think it does work
I think it's okay
fine for
the
this
theme.
theme. I don't know that I'd want to play a game with a cutie, little cute kids showing up and you're murdering them. Here I'm like, that guy was going to die
Yeah,
anyway.
it's definitely very artistic.
Yeah.
I think it plays into the theme really well. I think it serves it well.
It was on purpose.
In this video, we'll have a link to the review. We're not going over the game. You can see Z's original review on it, and also our playthrough of this, which we did last week, playing through the game, which definitely was a week ago from us recording this.
That is.
As far as you know.
Yep.
I even wore the same shirt.
Yeah, we all coordinated.
We set it all up to look like that.
Just like that.
100%.
Alrighty, so this is my first time. I came into this knowing nothing, and I know that because Z said it's a card game, and I thought it was not a card game.
Yeah.
I thought we were all running our own inns, and I didn't know anything about it.
You really had not looked at this very closely at all.
I'd seen the art. That was it. I knew the theme.
Yeah, that's funny. I thought you knew kind of what it was like.
Now this is, who's the designer?
This is Nicolas Robert, who is a French person, I believe.
I don't think I played a game like this before. Like, at all. I've played games where you play cards to do actions. Race for the Galaxy, that sort of thing.
Right, it has a little bit of that. Cards are the cost also. They do pay cards.
Although I wouldn't mind them I'd like to see another game take that concept of some cards, when you pay them for certain cards, you don't spend them. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that transferred over.
Yeah.
But the card play, I thought, worked pretty well.
The 2 actions per round created a tightness that I didn't expect the game to have.
Very much so.
So you really had to time everything just right.
As well as that little bit of reading the table and not quite push your luck, but reading the table and taking your chances on, okay, if I kill, there are 2 people out there. Do I think anyone's going to take them out or not? And so that tension of it's only like the tightness of the 2 actions, and also that first action is so important because you can really set yourself up for a bad second turn where you're like, oh crap, no one killed that cop. I have to do something else. You can kind of back people into corners.
Words
like
you
that.
always want to be uttering.
Well, and then if cops don't come out, then you're like, oh, I can do more than I thought I could do. Like I had a different plan in mind.
Yeah.
Let me pivot a little bit and make use of this.
More like tactical, right?
Yeah.
You've played this game more than we have. It seems to me, just after playing once, that it's best with 4. Does that...
Not necessarily. I think it plays fine at all the player counts.
Okay.
I've played a 2 plenty, and 3 and 4, it's...
What about soloing it? Have you ever done that?
I think I might have tried it once.
Do you get 2 actions per round in a 2-player game?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go through those cards real fast.
You go through the cards
out.
at the same rate, because it's always 8.
But there's less action, so that there's less. Like if there's 3 cops out, you're never going to get rid of all 3 cops. Whereas 3 people in a 4-player game can kill them all.
Well, you can murder. You can murder double murder.
But
It's good. At 4, at 3, at 2, it's about the same to me. I have a hard time saying this is slightly better with 4 than.
I mean, strategically, you might play it differently.
Cards, I suppose. So that's good. Where you'll see more of the cards. So that, in that sense, I suppose more is more fulfilling because you'll get to see more different strategies and whatnot. Yeah.
I really like the money aspect of this. It's a really, or points, money. It's a really interesting thing. I'm usually not a big fan of feed your people, which this has by paying people. But it's interesting because I can choose how many cards to keep in my hand from round to round. That's pretty much that. But that going over 40 brings it something in. That's interesting. You don't want too much money. What is the theming behind that? It probably doesn't matter. You're just not allowed to have that much cash on hand.
I think that you're stashing it places.
Right, and so it's like just that's the amount of cash that you can have in your hand before you have to stash it places. Right. No, I really like that a lot because I think it did play into some really strategic decisions of like, okay, I need to bury this person. Where am I going to put them? Oh, I'm going to put it over there because you're already maxed out, so you're only going to get 1 point instead of us splitting the points, or not points, I'm sorry, money. Things like that. So I think, or again, talking about the tight decisions, like, okay, I have to cash out. I need to bury this person, but I've also got to cash out because if I bury them, I'm giving away 15 points in it, you know, whatever. And so it's a real, it plays into that balancing act of it that I thought was really interesting.
Well, and that interaction too of like, I had decided that I wanted to max out my tracks so that I could cash out the next turn, not thinking that somebody else could take some of my spots and not give me money, which is just very, it's an interesting interaction that I'm not used to.
Right.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
It is subtle.
Which is odd for this game. I was expecting more of a ha ha ha, but I like that because you definitely can mess with each other, but not. It's in expected ways. It's not like I played someone and you're like, no, you can't play that character.
Right.
I don't. That would ruin the game for me, I think.
And, well, for me, I think it's opposite. I'm a little bit closer to like that's something that held me back in the game because I multiple times I was like, okay, I want to get this annex out so I can do this and this. But I was like, nobody else has spots out. There's only one spot, which means people are going to bury here. And then I won't get to use that spot. So I think that being able to bury in other people's actually frustrated me during
Well, they're
it.
giving you free money as long as you have the room to take it.
Right, but then what about my person that I can't kill? So I can't get my own killing engine
You
going.
can't bury, you mean, right?
Right, yes.
You can kill all you want. What did y'all think about the theme?
I have no problem with it.
I don't have a problem with the
think
theme.
that's,
Obviously, I like this game a lot.
What are your
I think
hobbies?
that's all you.
The fun thing is, every time I do play it, the sort of that interaction, the sort of tongue-in-cheek morbid talk of what's going on always comes to the table. And no other game gives me that same the sort of chat that develops around what's going on in this game. I don't really get from anything else, you know?
Well, it's so over the top.
It is
It's
very
silly.
over the top. The game is also very cartoony and ridiculous.
They
and
bringing
people are
back the
quite
artwork
removed.
in. Yeah.
So, yes, you get the whole, like, oh, I'm going to kill the newsboy and bury him in the park, or, oh, he goes into the brewery, or, oh, no one fits in the chandelier, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is morbid, but also clearly ridiculous. So, yeah, I like that conversation that develops. It's silly.
All right. Well, I mean, it is. But would you bring this out with everybody? I mean, it seems like there's some people that this might. Because the box itself looks particularly grim.
Yeah.
It does. I think it would bother some people. I think you got to know your crowd.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of games bother a lot of people. This one's very on the nose.
Sure.
Right.
All right, Wendy, what'd you think of it? What's that? It's Barry.
What is it? Barry?
Bring or
Bring or
buy?
buy.
We'll have this down
Barry,
by the
bring or buy.
100th Catchupalooza.
Very bringer.
I would say bring it for this. There's a lot that I enjoyed about the tightness of the game and the multi-use cards. I wish the text was bigger. I really struggled seeing anything on the cards from here. And I know that I could have reached up more and looked. But overall, I enjoyed it. It's not a love for me. But yeah, it's a bring it. You bring it, I'll play it, and I'll murder some people with you.
Yeah. For me, it's the same. But I liked it. But there's a couple small things. I thought it was a smidge longer than I would prefer.
Okay.
I felt like
we
could have
didn't play
been.
a long game, so there is.
Oh.
Is there a shorter
Oh.
version?
Well, we didn't play the long. We when you set up the game, there's this when you're setting up.
Oh, how many cards you take out?
So we removed for the long game for 4 players. We removed 6 cards, which I did. If you want to play the short game, you remove 22.
Oh.
Okay, which would have been.
I probably would have enjoyed that more.
I would have removed
Makes the game
12.
much tighter, but it also means that you're less
Yeah.
likely to get those value 3 characters and really squeeze them
Got
for as
it.
much as what
Right.
they end up being worth, which is at least 6 cards to bring them in, to put them down.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I liked it though. The theme, it's weird. I mean, I'll get into it like, yeah, but then I feel a little odd afterwards. I don't know how else to explain it. It's good. It's hard for me to qualify more than that. Z owns it, so if I want to play it, actually, do I own it? I probably do.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Is it not in the library?
I don't think so.
If Z brings it, you will play?
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll play it with Z. What about you?
All right, I'm gonna be a bring it as well. 2 things really held me back in really liking this game. It was not the theme. I did really like the theme, but
Z and Garcia.
yeah, right. No, it was as I already said, the being able to use other people's stuff. You know, that really was a hang up for me. That
See, I love that.
Right, but and again, that's a me thing, like my personal taste, right? And the other thing was those cards that you guys had end game.
They were so powerful.
They were so powerful to the point that, like, if you spend the time, I mean, I've gone through the scenarios in my head and I was like, if you spend the time, that is, I don't want to say game breaking, but pretty close to it. I feel like that was a huge
I thought
separation.
about it, but when Z played his, if he had played it earlier, I would have gone out of my way to kill as many red people as I could.
And that's possible, but again, is that not, that would be too game altering for me, because then I'm not focusing on my maximizing the engine that I'm going to get going in my plays. I'm focusing on that. And to me, that changes the game dynamic too much that I don't like it.
See, I think that I would only target red people if they were equivalent and they had the same amount of money that they
Sure,
were.
and I mean that too,
yeah,
right?
Like,
I wouldn't kill a 0 if I could kill a 2.
all of them.
Whereas I
course.
feel like most of the time I was like, oh, what costs 2 so that I can play 2
Right.
and bury him
Yeah.
too.
And
Like,
so at that point,
Yeah.
that's when I'm playing a game to hold you back rather than to do my best. And that's not a play style that I really like. So for that, it's like, if you bring it, I can get over both of those issues, and I'd be happy to play it, but it's not one that I would seek out to play, because both those things are in the back of my mind, just like.
What about you? Still like it?
I really like this game. I love it. In fact, to me, it feels like a game that's bigger than the box and the bits.
I would agree.
Definitely.
That's definitely
Yeah.
agree with that.
It's a game that is different from a lot of other ones, both thematically but mechanically. Like you were saying, this is a weird mix of stuff that works together well. The 2 actions feels tight and restrictive, but in a good way. You normally never take your first action without knowing what your second one's going to be. Like, rarely do you do that, right?
Yeah.
So they're almost like a connected turn with just people between you. I like the maxing out on here and having to manage that. That really messes with your timing in the game. Where if you stop thinking about it and you kill someone when you shouldn't have, that's when you get caught up in that like cantrip of, oh wait, I can't bury this person yet,
Right.
or I could, but I'm throwing a bunch of money away. So do I bury it somewhere else? Do I launder first, but then I go into next round with not knowing how many cops are going to show up and not enough cards to bury immediately. So, yeah, I like all those things, and they make the game feel unique to me, I guess. So
Yeah, and on that point, I think too.
I don't know
Sorry.
if it's a buy it even for me, because it's so weird, and the theme is dark. I don't think you sight unseen should be like, oh, Z likes it, so I'm going to buy it. It's a buy it for me personally, you know what I mean? But I don't recommend this one as much as I would something like Wingspan. Who's going to object to that?
Right.
Got it.
For sure, for sure. Oh, and the one thing, I mean, to that point, a mechanism I really like is these aren't multi-use cards, but in a way they kind of are, because are you going to pick it up and keep it in your hand for the top action that you can then keep that card in your hand, or are you going to kill them, or are you going to, they each have some positive to it. And so I think, I mean, it's multi-use
I would say they're
something,
multi-use
you
cards.
would? Would you use that term? So,
Yeah,
anyway.
They're money,
Yeah.
possibly recycled money, because they might come back depending on
Yeah,
what you
they're
spend the
building.
money on.
Right.
They're building, their body, their
Right.
whatever. Like,
But it's an interesting take on that multi-use card. So anyway, I really like that about it. I think that gives the unique nature of the game.
Well, there you
you
go.
go.
The Bloody Inn. Come to visit the Dice Tower. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
Welcome.
Goodbye.